friends. So we are here to go ahead and take some review notes. This is specifically for Science Review 10, but we're going to go ahead and be reviewing cells, specifically the difference between unicellular and multicellular. Go ahead and make sure that you have this chart within your notes somewhere, and then you're going to utilize that to do your review activity. Okay, so we're going to kind of poke around in this, okay? So the first thing that we want to think about is what is the main difference, or how do we kind of determine which ones are unicellular organisms and which ones are multicellular? Well, it all depends on the number of cells. Unicellular organisms have only one cell. Multicellular organisms have more than one cell. It's important to know that this is more than one type of cell, then this is more than one type of cell, okay? Sorry, I'm just putting both of those here. Okay, remember with unicellular organisms, we talked about this misconception a lot. It's not that there's just one organism just hanging out. It's that that organism only has one type of cell, okay? Versus the multicellular organisms have more than one type of cell. It doesn't have to do with how many of the organisms there actually are. So like if I was to draw a picture of a unicellular, remember those are like amoeba, like some bacteria. There we go. I have the nucleus in there, have some other stuff maybe in there. There you go. That's my cell. Multicellular organisms, well, that's like you and me. We both have all of these different types of cells. We're made out of more than one type of cell. Trees, animals, anything that you want to put for that type, all of those are multicellular organisms, okay? All right, so some more differences with them. Let me make sure that I can type again. Oh, let's go ahead and do those examples. So like amoeba, some bacteria, algae, those are all unicellular organisms. Now, we know that like when I see algae in a pond, sometimes there's a ton of algae all together. It's not like all of a sudden it's multicellular. Because that algae is made out of one type of cell, that makes it a unicellular organism. Multicellular organisms are like humans, animals, insects, trees, plants. There's a whole bunch. You don't have to put all those, just put a couple to make sure that you remember. All right, then how do they exchange nutrients? So, and along with that is the life function. So unicellular organisms perform all life functions within that one cell. That one cell has to be able to do everything for that organism. Versus with multicellular organisms, we end up having specialized cells that each perform a specific function. So for example, within humans, we have blood cells, we have skin cells, we have muscle cells. Each of those types of cells perform a specific function. My blood cells do something different than my brain cells. Each of them have their own function so that I can end up being the human moving around, talking, doing all the things that I do that I am. And along with exchanging nutrients. So for this one, the cell is able to exchange nutrients with the environment around it. Because again, it has all of those life functions within that cell. For multicellular organisms, there's transport systems. Transport systems help the cells exchange nutrients with the outside environment. What do we mean by that? Well, for example, when I breathe out, my lungs are not touching the environment, right? My lungs are inside my body. So my lung cells can't just like get out that carbon dioxide. I have to have a transport system. What is that transport system? My lungs breathe it out. It goes up through my trachea, goes out through my nose, right? That's that transport system. That respiratory system is part of that transport system that helps the cells exchange nutrients with the outside environment. All right, friends, once you have these notes, you're going to go ahead and utilize this to do a compare and contrast sort, which is your activity for today. Go ahead and get started.